There we are. We are now live. So I'm gonna first just gotta make sure I share this a couple places and get some people to come and hang out. Get some people to. Let's see here. We copy that, and then we're gonna go to the Discord channel, and we'll go to Renzo Fruge. That's the wrong one. I need to go to this one. There we go. And then I can close that out, and I can go to Skype, and then invite some students in. Just a little extra masterclass fun. We can ask any questions you want about flutes and techniques, pieces, practice techniques, methods, anything that you want. We can go over in today's little session here. Free master class and Shakuhachi. Free master class and I don't know, let's call it free master class, chat, hangout. There we go. That's enough. That'll get them. All right. Then we have to go to the other page. Let's see how we're going. There we go. That's still going live, so we're good to go. And then we'll go here to Sean Head's music, and then that way I can post it there, and then we just hang out for a little bit. Okay. We also check sound. That's really important too. Gotta check the sound. Come and hang out. All right. To go. And then we'll go here. All right. To go. Okay, so Dai Jital Sensei. Oh, that's gonna do that thing where it just repeats endlessly if I don't stop it. All right. Yes. Thank you. Well, actually, there's no Otsukare-sama because I haven't done any. Well, actually, that's not true. I did do things today. I did do some stuff. Right now, I'm studying Shomyo and Okyo, and so Shomyo is liturgical chant, and then the Okyo is the sutra reading. So that's two of the things that I'm studying. So I practice that pretty much every single day, and it's really intense. It's actually a lot of work to do all that stuff. So we can play some pieces today, play some tunes, and I wanted to talk about this small little flute here because this is what I think is on everybody's mind. So on the new series that I'm doing with the Minyo stuff, so like the Jinashi series continues, but I've done the big bulk of pieces that I know I've performed, and so now I have like just pieces here and there that I know, but I have to revisit them, and so revisiting them means that I have to practice, and so I need some time. So now I'm just going through a bulk of the pieces that I know for Minyo stuff that I can just play right away. But a lot of them are children's songs, so I thought I would actually use like a children's shakuhachi. So it's not really like a child's flute, but from what I've heard is that they when people teach young kids to play shakuhachi, they use like a 1.1 or something like that. So it's cute. It's fun to play. It's a little bit hard to get those higher octaves. Especially in tune. Because that's the... So, yeah. Yeah, so I do Hana Shingyo, as of course. That's a daily one, but I also do Diamond Sutra, and then I also do sometimes I do the Hokekyo. It's a Lotus Sutra, and then I have a lot of other ones that I do between that. Everything that I do takes about 40 minutes as a daily practice, but that's pretty important to me, at least, that I want to get better at. Oh, Brad. Ah, now I know. Brad is one of my students. We'll see. Sometimes, like when I choose a time, um, a time to do these live streams. Sometimes they do really well, and then like their people show up, and other times, meh. You know, it's just 3 or 4 people, and that's fine too. So we're gonna go over some other stuff. I thought I'd also bring out the 8 flute too, because I'm gonna do a recording on that soon as well. And it's a fun one to play. The Utaguchi, I don't know how clearly you can see it. You can't see it at all. So the Utaguchi itself is has a little bit of black water buffalo horn in it, but I don't think it's original. I don't think it had that before. So but the problem with a flute like this is that you have to do your own adjustments. So once you play on that chi, if I don't adjust, there's with the adjustment. Without it, it's just that really sharp chi, which makes it easy to go. So that's a nice effect. You can use. You have 3 different colors with the same note: chi okari, chi, and chi meri. And of course, you have the chi or the u. So it's a cool flute. It's a flute. It's fun to play. It's really fun to play, and interesting too. It's just so different from all the other instruments that I have and that I work with. So, all right, I want to call Chen. Chen is a good friend of mine, but I have to find his name. I don't like the new settings for Facebook. They're supposed to be more user friendly, but they're not at all. Let me bring him in. And yeah, there's like a multitude of reasons of why the what was I gonna say? I completely forgot. I was gonna say something and then it just went like that out into the distance. But if Chen comes, I'm happy. That's the only thing I want in this world is just to have Pancake. That's his nickname. I don't even know how he got that nickname. It's really weird, but it's I remember the first time I met him, that's what people called him, was Pancake, and I just never understood it, but it is what it is. All right, let me play a couple tunes. That will help pass the time. I got about an hour before I have to go do something. I didn't want to just sit around and do nothing, and that's the wrong file. I think it's this one. Listen, hooks. This is the next one I'm gonna do anyway, so I have to work on these. Okudan. Wrong file. Oh, I see. I know how to use a computer. I think. All right. That's what I was gonna play. There's my flute. can only hang out for a few minutes. Got a Jim Johnson $200 shakuhachi on Amazon, made I think by Johnson Fung in Hong Kong. I like it. That's awesome. If you can find a cheap shakuhachi that you like, it's great. Let me pull out my $40 shakuhachi. So I bought this one for $40. I hope it's not cracked. I don't play it. It looks fine. Okay. So this is $40, if you can't believe it. Yeah, this is like, I still think it's crazy that this was only $40. And it plays like that well too. Yeah, for that kind of, like, I can see somebody paying, like, I guess it's probably because of this up here, because of the lacquer, and like that it had a crack here and someone did a binding. And this thing in the front kind of looks bad, but like it's more about sound than anything else, and it sounds like a really expensive flute, actually, like maybe over $1,000 sound wise. It's not saying it's worth $1,000 or anything like that, or even worth $2,000, but the sound of it is like that. And yeah, it's a steal for sure. Let's give it a song, that way you guys can hear what it sounds like when you play it. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably give this flute away at some point. I'll probably just give it to one of my students. Yeah, that binding looks funky. Mine is a-okay, except the Uchi-Guchi isn't on a node. So you lucked out. Nice, Maestro. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the piece. And yeah, the Uchi-Guchi being on a node is actually really important, because it reinforces a lot of the, like, that's a really hard part of the bamboo, and it also has a like just the way that it dips and all that stuff makes for a better sound. But I'm not a maker. The one thing I do want to learn more about at some point is to not like make a flute, because I don't think I could even like hold a piece of bamboo without it breaking before it becoming a shakuhachi. So but it would be nice to be able to learn how to do my own bindings, if that in that case, or like even like I'm not talking like the outside bindings, the inlaid bindings. That would be really cool to learn how to do for myself, as well as maybe like basic urushi work. But one thing I want to do is I want to get makie, and this is makie. So makie is like on this stuff here, if you can see, like there's like the design. So this is Japanese lacquer work, and then they put like designs on top of it, and they use whatever. I want to do that for one of my shakuhachi, and I'm thinking like this one, and then maybe put the name of the flute here or something like that, and then maybe some sort of image as well. But I really like that stuff, and it's unfortunately an art that's not you know, it's dying out really quickly. So you're gonna find those. You're not gonna find those people as they're not gonna be as readily available even within the next 15 years. Though there are a lot of young people still doing it, and when I say a lot, I mean like I could probably think of 10 people that I know that are doing it. So yes, to make a one piece 1.8 with the utaguchi on the node requires a very special piece of bamboo. Yes, well, here's a 1.7 with it on the node. Here's a 2.0 with it on the node. Here's a 1.8 with it on the node. Almost all of them are like that, because what a lot of times what happens outside of the like the Japanese market of making it. Oh my God, Chien is busy. Is that so? The bamboo decides the size of the instrument, not the maker. So whatever the bamboo says, like if it's this length, it's going to be this length of a flute. So that's why it's really hard to find an instrument that's like exactly 1.8. So that's why some instruments are slightly sharp and some instruments are slightly flat, and that's why they use the G. So the G pace is to help tune it. Typically speaking, jinashi flutes are flatter. So if you had the exact same size flute, for example, I have a jinashi and a jiari here, so you can, and they're both a 1.8 and almost I think they're identical in size and in thickness. Okay, so here they are next to each other, utaguchi to utaguchi, and they are almost exactly the same size. I think the jinashi is just like half a millimeter longer. Maybe I might be holding these not so accurately too. If I do this, no, the jinashi is just a hair longer, but it's mostly just the bottom end here. So yeah, they're actually almost exactly on together. So the G here, so this one should be. Yeah, this one's sharper. So this one's more of a perfect D. This is a little bit flat. So yeah, that's whatever. I can go on for days about that, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the thing I showed you guys, this thing here, this is not a plate. This is a Asumi block. So Lee Ram's vlogs, you actually do sumi, so you should know this. You should know what this is. So you take a little bit of a stick, a sumi stick, and you rub it against the surface here, and that will create ink. And then you put it into the pool here, and then that's where you can dip the fude, the brush, and then you can do your stuff. So yeah, an ink stone. And I also have my favorite fude holder, which is a bunch of owls. This is my little fude holder. So the little brushes go here. This is really cute. Another thing that I'm learning how to do, and it's really tough. Shodo is very, very tough. I'm not good at it at all. I don't think I even have any of my own stuff. Oh, I do have this. This is my recent hana shingyo, my little shakyo that I did. So this one I did with a fude brush. So that was fun. So Alex Carter, nice to see you. Yes. So anyways, I will see you around. Thank you so much for all your comments and support. I really appreciate it. It helps make the channel more exciting and interesting. Have I ever seen a fully lacquered flute? Yes, actually I have. I've seen a bunch of them. And by a bunch, I mean probably maybe 20 or 30. And I think that's a bunch for, well, comparatively to the ones, like comparative to like just regular bamboo flutes or smoked bamboo or anything like that, I guess it's like not a lot, but yeah, I've seen them. And you can get it done too. So if you do a fully lacquered flute, like let's say you want to do it red or black, probably cost you a couple $100. And then if you want designs on it, like let's say you want like gold makie on top, then you're talking more, a couple, like maybe $1,000 to $1,500 on top of that. So, but yeah, they're there, they're around. But you know, I think when people do that, it's because they really love the flute. They don't want it to break. They want it to last forever. So this is my cute cup, my very, very cute cup. But yeah, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous when it's done right. Oh, getting used to the seiza. I've been sitting seiza every single day for like just hours on end. So I haven't done my, like today I probably sat seiza for, including this 30 minutes now, probably over an hour. And I'm starting to get more and more used to it. But what I'm noticing is that like that tingly feel when you get in your feet, like you feel like your feet are gonna fall off. That happens a lot. But I keep trying to push forward to be able to do it longer, because seiza, like, you know, in my profession, you know, like everywhere I go in Japan, you know, when we go to a lot of these traditional concert halls, or I can't call them concert halls, or just washitsus, you know, tatami rooms, you know, everybody sits seiza, and I just didn't want to be that foreigner that sits there for 5 minutes and goes, oh my god, my legs, I gotta sit normally. So I've been forcing myself to sit in seiza for longer periods of time. And so if I kind of just move around and just, you know, get the blood flowing again, I'm okay. But oh man, in the beginning I could make it like 3 minutes, and then I was like, all right, yep, I'm dying. Nice cup. Yeah, this is my favorite cup. It's got flowers. It's got pink ones and purple ones and yellow ones, and it's even got dragonflies on it. Oh wait, yeah, it's a dragonfly, I think, or it's like a flower that's floating away. Okay, let's play another tune. Maybe we could talk a little bit about the approach of long flutes too. Let's use my 2-0. It's been a long time since I've used my 2-0, and I like this thing. It's a fun flute to play. I think I should make my wife watch Forrest Gump, because she hasn't, or I think we did watch it actually, but she fell asleep through it because she didn't think it was interesting. All right, Iyasaka Ondo. I haven't played this in a while. Iyasaka Saka Sa. This is a really great flute for a piece called Kaze no Uta, which was composed by Sawai Tadao, and it or composed by Sawai Tadao, and it just has like this warmth and flow and to it that's just so gorgeous. And so I think that a 2-0 works really well. I think originally it was written for a 2-1. But I think a 2-1 is just, it's too dark, and you don't get like enough of like the color variations of stuff. Like that's really nice to have in there. And that still has like, but as power, like you can get gritty with it. And you get that kind of, you know, kaze sound mashed with a that sort of feel, which brings up another good topic to discuss, which is how to choose a flute for a piece. And if it's like mignon, usually there's like a you base it off the singer's voice. The light. Hi Sean, hello from Florida. Hello the light. I see the light. Let's see here. So let's take an example of a honkyoku piece. And let's talk about like tamuke. So tamuke is one that people tend to like to play on a long flute, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be on a long flute at all. You can do it on a 1/8. You can do it on a 1.6. You can do it on a 2/6. You can do it on a 3/0. You can do it on a 1/1. So the you have to think about what you want to express, and so and what flute or what the color is that your flute is providing. So if I let's say I want a really mellow a really mellow tamuke, and I want to kind of have it like a still lake, just you're floating on the boat, drinking a beer, relaxing, that sort of tamuke. Then I might use like this 2/0 that I showed earlier. Because it doesn't have the grittiness of a giadi, where it has like that brassy sound, but it also doesn't have the roughness of a jinashi. Okay, so let's say I want a little bit more, I want a brighter sound, but I want more natural sounds, and I want to be able to use more like harsher tones with muraiki, but I want to keep energy and I want to keep it pushing forward. Well, then I can do it on a 1/8 jinashi. Okay, so let's say I don't want that. I want a real powerhouse thing, and I want to let everybody in the world know. I might use a 2. Let's say I might use a 2/0 giadi. And I just want big honkin' rows. Okay. Maybe I want to play a really fast version of tamuke, and I really want to go through the piece and it's a type of anxious and energetic tamuke. Okay, so then I'm going to do it on a 1/6 giadi. Okay, now I want to have power, but I still want to have natural sounds, but I want to be able to get mellow when I need to get mellow, and I want to have like the full range of expressionism or expressivity like I do with the voice. Okay, well then I'm gonna choose a long jinashi flute, 2/4 plus. This is a 2/6. And that's in the same range of the voice. De chi de chi u chi de chi de. So and it fits perfectly there. So I'm really getting that idea. I got that idea across, that feeling across, that I want to mimic the sound of chant. I want to mimic the sound of the voice. But sometimes we don't want to do that. See, I'm giving up on my saison now for a little bit. It's been 30 minutes on there. I've already done my over an hour today, which is my limit basically, and so then I have to stretch them out. Stretch out the lace. We got a package. I wonder what kind of package we got. But anyways, so yeah, that's how I go about choosing flutes. Is is thinking of what I want to express. Might have to pay for it if it's Chakabarai. No. Every time, so okay, we have an intercom, and so like here's the house, right? Here's the house. In front of the house, there's the garden, and then right over here in this part, there's the front gate, and then there's an intercom. So they always press the intercom, and then we come in and we say, "Yeah, come on in," and then they sit there. We say, "Just come in," and then we walk outside. We open the door. We say, "Please come in," and then they go, "Oh, okay," and then they come in, and then they come and meet us. Every once in a while, we do have somebody who just comes in and they actually walk into the house, which is hilarious to me. It's like, oh, God, we do live in the countryside, don't we? Some people are really, really comfortable with that. Just walking on in. So, all right. Oh, God, I made a big mess. I took out all my flutes. Took out every single one. That's okay. Now, let me show the 1.1 again, because this is always fun. The little thingy here. Let me sit properly and let me see if we can get a little tamuke on a 1-1. It's gonna be hard. You know what this flute really reminds me of, especially in those top parts when you get that is it sounds just like a shinobue or a like takefue, which is the this little thing, and it's actually about the same size too, so that would make sense. I think the low note on it. Oh no, it's the same key too, because the low note on a shinobue is an A, and this is an A. Well, kind of an A. Let's see. Your inner voice. Hello. Oh man. Okay, and then Brad says, "Thanks, Sean Sensei." You're welcome. All right. Hiep Lee. Hi, Sean. I have a question. When I play the natural notes on notes in Otsu and Kan, should I be adjusting my head neck position to make the notes in tune, or should I maintain my head and neck position? So let's can I ask let me ask a follow-up question first. Are you playing a Jinashi or are you playing a Giadi? Okay. And then once I have that answer, then I can give you an answer for that. Okay, the 1.1, like the buff bro, or the hitoyogiri, like the buff bro, the hitoyogiri. It's actually, I think the hitoyogiri would be even just a little bit smaller though, because I think the hitoyogiri would probably be about like this, because it's supposed to just be one, like take portion, so it'd actually be like this size. So it would still be, yeah, about half the size of this flute. So I think it's pretty small. I've only played like one or two hitoyogiris. Oh, you play Shakuhachi. Okay, so when you're playing, actually the head motion should not change. It actually should be the lip that changes. So as you play, like let's say if I just play Rotsu de Chiriro, right now let's say if I don't change the lip the embouchure at all. Right? There you're going to hear I'm almost a half step flat, but it has nothing to do with the head position. So now, let's say if you're going to be playing a midi or kari note, then of course, yes, then you'll use the head position. But just on those nuclear pitches, do, tsu, re, chi, di, do, the head position should be the same throughout that. You want to tune with the lips. So it's all, you don't have to do any head motion whatsoever. I haven't played the U in a long time, so I don't remember if it's like completely in tune, but I think it's pretty darn close from what I remember. And that's one of like the big selling parts for it, because of how in tune it is. It makes it easier to work with as a teacher, because you don't have to worry about pitch, and because it's manufactured with that plastic, for 100% that it's going to be in tune and it's going to be the same, so you have a consistent material to work with. So but yeah, it's a good question. It's a really, really good question, because that working with the embouchure throughout the flute, it's yeah, okay, here's a good way to think of it, as a string player, right? Guitar, violin, any string. When you're in like the first position, your hand position is shaped this way. As you go up higher, your hand position gets closer. So it's the same thing that has to do with for the embouchure. When we're going to higher notes, we have to tighten the embouchure, and it's not just to do with going from otsu to kan. So it's going to be like ro. It's a whole new embouchure, but that's without changing. It's slightly flat. Tightening it up just a little bit. Now it's even more. Now it's even closer. Some of the notes on shakuhachi that need a little bit more, we'll call it support, is the tsu and the ri. Typically, the tsu is flat and the ri is flat, even on modern shakuhachis. So what you have to do is just go a little bit tighter, and then same with the ri. If I don't tighten up enough, it's just a little too flat. Now it's in tune. And just because you're tighter doesn't mean you can't play more quiet or can't play with a full tone. As well. So, okay. I think I'm almost out of coffee. So if I run out of coffee with my little cup, that's when I will end the live stream. But it's always fun hanging out. It's just fun hanging out and, playing some tunes, talking shakuhachi. Because honestly, let me tell you this. It makes my job so much easier as a teacher when you guys ask awesome questions. Because then, like when I do these live streams, I don't make money off of it. Or if I do, it's like a penny, right? Because those YouTube views, man, rolling in dough. 5 cents a video. But what's more helpful about this is actually, for me as a teacher, this is my way of learning how to teach, because you guys ask really great questions and I go, oh, I've never thought about that. So I quickly try to think about something, come up with a solution for it, and then come up with an exercise that goes along with it afterwards. So that way, when one of my students have that problem, I say, I've thought about this. Here's my solution. David Diaz, hello. How are you? I am well. And you? Um, there's that one joke. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but basically it's a joke about international students, how they when they're learning English, one of the things they know is, "Hi, how are you? I'm good, and you?" And so then like somebody's falling off a cliff, and the person who is watching them fall goes, "Hi, how are you?" And then the person falling goes, "I'm good, and you?" It's just the only things they know how to say. How did you meet your ex Komaso in the previous videos? Okay. So well, because I'm in Nara, there's actually a lot of people who work with that are working with like Meianji and stuff like that. So or Myoanji, and so there's a lot of people who are members of that and who are Komaso, and I'm friends with them. I know who they are, and we hang out. And then there's other people who are no longer members of the Komaso like little thing there. So he actually does a lot of stuff with shugyo and like so aesthetic training and going out into the mountains and playing. Where I don't think a lot of at least the ones that I've met, a lot of them don't do that as frequently. So that's how we got together, because I wanted to do more of that stuff. Okay, Mark Daly, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. If I may ask a question, what is the optimal tongue position while playing? Okay, that's a really good one. But first, David, I'm glad that you like my story of my joke there. Okay. So the optical blah 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 blah. I can speak English. Optimal. The optimal tongue position is a tongue position that is flexible. So what I tell my students and what I work on with people is being able to create a variety of tone colors. So how I do that is by creating different vowel shapes. So the 5 vowel shapes that we have, well, there's of course a lot more, is the first basic ones are a, I, U, A, O. So depending on the sound that you want, you're going to change your the way that you approach the tongue placement. So a is a little bit airy, but it's kind of got like a warm fuzz. E is your full muraiki. U is that really warm, rounded sound. So we have a, I, U, A, A. It's like a little bit more of an area. I think that's like your sorane kind of sound. Sorane, which that kind of sound. And of course, that's not tonguing. That's just air pulses. That kind of sound. Then here's my everyday, like if I want a clear, big, round sound, I use the sound O. So inhale. So with the sound, with all of these, you have to say, and then, and you can hear how O, the pitch drops and it opens up. There's your loud, big, round sound. Then what you do after that is you mix. Say, okay, I'm gonna have 75% O, and now a little bit of ah. Okay, now I'm gonna start with O and I'll move all the way to E. And so on and so forth. So that's what I do for when we talk about optimal tongue placement. It's a tongue that's able to be flexible and move around. Okay. Matthew Llewellyn. A wonderful channel. Thank you. Okay. Inner voice. Thank you for the answer. You're welcome. The stone sculpture you played to looked amazing too. Yeah, those are all Butsuzo, or like Those are all like the like bodhisattvas and bosatsus, and yeah, it's a really cool place. It's a really really cool place. All right. Okay. Wonderful channel. Recommendation for a beginner model. Beginner model is okay. If you're gonna take Shakuhachi seriously and you want to do it for the long run, what I recommend is going bamboo right away. Now, here's the thing about bamboo though, is that you have to just take care of it. Keep it in the plastic bag when you're done. Play it every single day. Wipe the spit out. Blow hot air into the bag. Close it. Keep it tight. If you can do that, then you're gonna be fine with your shakuhachi. You won't have to worry about it. Get the bamboo one, and I would say go Yozan all the way. The Yozan beginner flutes are under $1,000. They are absolutely fantastic. It's what I recommend all of my students, and a lot of my students use that level flute all the way up until Okuden and Junshihan. So that's my answer for that. Thank you. The variation in tone color you achieve is remarkable. I have a lot of people to thank for that. So it took a long time to get that, and that was actually a lot of the things too that I do is I take things from my violin life and my viola life before I did shakuhachi. I take those concepts and I put that into shakuhachi. Okay, John Judd, bamboo or plastic? That was to that. Do you use tongue to articulate the note? I do not use tongue to articulate the note unless I am playing a piece that requires that. So, like... So yeah, like there you can do that, of course, and get that sort of sound. But traditionally speaking, we would just do it with rearticulation. So... or... and that's actually in that piece too. Whatever. I messed up the ending. Not bad for not playing it for like 6 months and then being able to memorize that. Which, this is a really interesting thing too. Maybe you guys have some advice for this. I'm really bad at memorizing things. But then like I'll have that, and I don't think it's actually that I've memorized that. I think it's just that my body has muscle memory for it. But if you were to ask me like, what's the first note of that piece? I go, Ro? It's a complete guess. It's shooting a shot in the dark. So I have no idea about memorization. I'm really, really bad at that. Okay, appreciate your channel, and my local teacher is moving in May, so I will be looking to you for private lessons soon. Always love expanding the family. I call my studio the studio family because you know, we meet weekly, and we'll have our like masterclass dinners. So. Masterclass dinners. We all sit around the table and complain. Okay, let's see here. Jador, I wish I could watch at work. I'll leave this one up. I'll leave this video up. Okay, love my Yozan shakuhachi. Me too. Love all of mine. Thanks for your advice a while back. I bought the wooden flute, and I think it was far better than the price tag. That's great. Really, really happy to hear that. Yeah, some of the wooden flutes are really great choices. They'll do what you need them to do, but they do lack a lot of. Actually, you know what? They kind of sound a little bit like a Jimori now that I'm thinking about it. So, okay. Anyways, next, same here. Repetition legitimizes the muscle memory. Yeah. So. I think I only have like maybe like 10 to 15 pieces that I have memorized to like that I could really just at any moment just pull out and play. Right? It's just not my forte. And there's a lot of people who say that like, oh, if you memorize the music, you'll be able to be more expressive with it. No, because while I'm standing up there, I'm just thinking about what's the next note of the piece. Whereas when it's in front of me, I can memorize the first line, you know, and not have to look again because I just saw it. So my short-term memory is like really, really good. So I see it, go, got it, play it, express. I look at the second line. I remember it instantaneously. I've memorized the second line. Okay, now I can play and continue. So I think for me, it's much better. To your question, declarative memory and motor programs are handled by surprisingly separate systems in the brain. Your experience with memorization is very common. Good. I also like when it's interesting too, like for all of the sutra reading that I do, right? Like I don't actually, if you ask me to write it out, I don't think I could do it. Well, I think I could actually. I do think I could do it, but I would be mouthing it the entire time. I would be saying it because I have the muscle memory from my mouth to go like, like Busetsu Malaka Hanya Haramita Shinyo Kanji Zaibo Sagyo, and I could say it all the way through. But like if you said like just say it to me, I couldn't probably just say it normally. I couldn't be like Busetsu Malaka Hanya. That would be a lot harder than actually just chanting it. And writing it would probably just be an absolute no. I probably couldn't do it. I'd make a lot of mistakes. So it's interesting. Memory is a very interesting thing. Here's a question for you as well. When you guys remember, like, okay, when you like think back on something, right? Like let's say something from childhood. When I have a memory and I start thinking about it, I don't just remember like the imagery of things, but like also like I can smell it. So like I can smell that time. And then I, like the taste. I can feel like how my body was then, even as I was younger. I remember that feeling. I remember the touch of everything, almost like I'm experiencing it right now. So like let's say if I'm back at like a restaurant that I ate at like let's say 5 years ago. I remember the temperature and I can feel the temperature like right now. Like so I'm thinking about a restaurant that I ate in England. I can feel the warmth of the fire that was on the right side of me. And then there was my friend was sitting right here. And then I feel that warmth. I can feel it right now, like hitting the side of my face. And then I remember the smell of like the specific dish I'm thinking about. So I'm thinking about that. What is it? The red wine sauce. Like that's what I can smell right now. I can feel. It's right here. I've never talked with anybody about like how they remember things. But is that normal? Does everybody remember that way? Where it's like, because it's for me, it's really, really detailed. And I remember conversations, which is like, okay, this is weird. I can remember like an hour-long conversation that I have with somebody, or like somebody says something that they think was so like unimportant. But then like 2 years later, I'll tell them like, hey, remember when you told me that story? And they're like, what? And I said, oh, you did this and you did this action, you said this. And they're like, dude, how do you remember that? I don't know how I can remember that, but I can't remember or memorize a Honkyoku piece. Memorize an hour-long conversation, but can't memorize a 10-minute piece. Okay, so you play the instrument instinctively. Yeah, I'm a much more of an instinctive player than I am I'm much more of an instinctive player because I don't like to think when I play. I don't want to do like okay, I'm going to play this Su, and I'm going to add a little bit of this, and now I'm going to transition to the Re. No, I just play. Okay, so that's because smell and taste are interconnected, the sensory memory connection in the strongest kind. Scent and hearing are the fastest memory recall techniques. Not enough space to explain properly. Okay, so as long as I know it's normal, that's okay, cool. Sometimes happen. John says, I tend to remember feelings before details. Ah, okay. Garrison says, commonly human brain remembers things by smell, taste, sight, and hearing. So, yeah. So, but I don't know why I can memorize the conversations that I had with people. I can remember, here's another thing too, I can remember like what I taught a student, but I don't remember what piece I taught the student. I can remember all the techniques we talked about in the lesson, but I don't remember what piece we did. Maybe there's just like a block. Maybe I'm just such an instinctive player that I don't even have like a space of memory. It's all just muscle memory. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. I don't know at all. All right, how are we doing coffee-wise? Almost done. That means the live stream is almost done. Okay. God, I'm looking at the my Okuden book. I'm mean. That's a lot of really hard pieces. Okay. Also, our memory and learning is not linear. When I study the different kata for pieces, I do not happen, but it does not happen from left to right. From what is easiest to remember sticks first. Oh, okay. If you're studying for an exam while chewing some gum, and in the exam you chew the same taste gum, it's easier for you to remember the answers. Wow. I wish I would have known that in college and in high school and my entire life. It's like practical advice. I would have a different flavor of gum for every single class. It's like we start off the day with math and blueberry, then we're gonna go raspberry for the for English. Then when we go over to science, I'm gonna do something like mint, really powerful, so I could actually remember all like the equations. Then when we go over to anatomy, we'll do kind of a more of a subtle flavor, something to bring it back, so that way we kind of refreshen the palate after that strong mint. And we'll do something like double bubble, super classic. That's a double bubble. Okay. Maybe I'll leave us all with a one piece or something like that. Maybe I'll just play a little something just randomly. Maybe not even a full piece, just a part of a piece. Peppermint. Peppermint's a good flavor. Yeah, it's different than mint. It's completely different. Peppermint has much more of a boom to it. It's got a lot of really. It's got some stuff to it. Okay. All right. Let me again sit properly here. It's a little daha. I'll maybe just do like the first 3 or 4 lines, and then we'll call it a day. First 4 lines, and we skip to the last one. 5 lines maybe. Okay. Well, this was a really fun, productive chat. This was just under an hour. It's a good time. I learned stuff, a lot about memory. So that's nice. That's really nice. So thank you all for hanging out. And I'll see you guys at another live stream at another time.